Good morning, and thank you for joining us. My name is Jonathan Goldman. I'm the Executive Director of the Illinois Environmental Council. And the reason that we're here this morning is amidst the craziness of a committee week like this, it's important from time to time to take a step back and really take stock of how we're doing. We're releasing today two documents. The first is entitled Priorities for a Healthful Illinois, and it's a briefing document that lays out the priority agenda that the environmental community in Illinois has come together around. The other document is the 2007 Environmental Scorecard, which is our look back at where we've been over the past year. We've sat down and gone through many of the votes that occurred last year and put together a listing of those key votes and looking at how legislators performed on that. I think it comes as no surprise that global warming is one of the issues that we're extremely concerned about and where we'd really like to see progress made. Global warming has been called by many as really the defining challenge of our generation for those of us who work on environmental issues, but also for society as a whole. And we've laid out an agenda that has been put together by many groups there trying to work on global warming. As we did our look back at last year, we were very pleased that there were 16 legislators who actually had 100% scores in our scorecard. And the scorecard, which we've got sitting out right on the front page, we've listed out those legislators. We're joined by some of them now. At a little gathering that we had last night, we were pleased to present awards to those legislators. We've got with us Representative Karen May and Representative Greg Harris.
It's not on the wall yet.
And Representative May has thoughtfully brought her award here to demonstrate.
Too, yes. Yeah.
And here I thought it was something I had said. I'd just like to take a moment and acknowledge that all the work that we do could not be made possible without the leadership of the legislators who step out on these issues, who sponsor the bills, and lead the way forward. So we thank you and we appreciate your hard work.
Probably my biggest environmental challenge this year is going to be House Bill 3424, the Illinois Clean Car Act. We moved it out of committee, so I've got the deadline extended. With the advocates who are here, hope to move it forward. And it's really important as we talk about just being important on a lot of different levels. Transit in the Midwest in total is responsible for 30% of the global warming pollution in our area. And this certainly will cut down on the global warming pollutants in the air, plus also the health benefit of getting rid of smog and soot in the air that have an implication for asthma for our school children and even adults. And the states are leading the way. 12 states, including California, have now approved this, and I think it's about 35% of the population. 39% of the population lives in a state that has approved this. The answer is simple. It's not a patchwork. The federal government has given waivers to California up to 40 times because for air pollution and different things, a waiver from the federal law. The federal law is not as strict. I want Illinois to have the clean standard to deal with the California standard of clean cars for global warming, for health, for saving money, for all of these reasons.
Thank you. My name is Greg Harris. I'm a representative from the north side of Chicago. And I want to thank Chairman May, who heads the Environmental Health Committee, for her leadership, because I think us as run-of-the-mill legislators face two major challenges in dealing with some of these pieces of legislation. Some of them are very straightforward and easy to understand and easy to take back home. When you start getting into the biotoxins and the other toxins that are out there, you're dealing with very complex science. The other thing I think that's a challenge that all of us as advocates have to face is that if you go out to a block club meeting or your Chamber of Commerce meeting in town, everyone's against greenhouse gases. People now understand what this is doing to our world. And you go through a winter like this one, where in Chicago area we've had twice the snowfall we have in a typical year. Last summer we had one of the hottest summers in a decade. People see, in their own yards, in their own lawns, in their own neighborhoods, that the climate is changing. So they understand that. We also have to help them understand that there's a cost to making some of these improvements. And as Representative May talked about, looking at a upfront cost versus an amortized cost over the life of a product. So when people see, oh, well, goodness, maybe a car will cost a little bit more up front, and we're seeing this with hybrids now, people realize the value that over the life of the car, this is going to save them money. People are voting their pocketbooks right now, and the economy is tough, and people look at every purchase.
Brian Urbaszewski with the Respiratory Health Association of Metropolitan Chicago. I'm listed as the contact for one of the topics dealing with diesel pollution. And as Representative May said, we do have a problem with soot and smog in Chicago and the East St. Louis areas in particular. Actually, 2 out of every 3 people in Illinois live in areas that don't meet federal air pollution standards. We have a long way to go. One of the ways to improve the situation and reduce the soot that people breathe that causes asthma attacks, heart attacks, strokes, etc., is to use technology that's already out there. There are devices that remove 90% of the soot that would otherwise come out of the tailpipe of a large diesel vehicle. Diesels are very durable. They last 10, 20, 30 years in some cases. This is a cost-effective way to reduce air pollution on those vehicles so that they don't pollute as much over the next several decades.
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Stanfield. I'm the Director of Environment Illinois, and we are a nonprofit statewide environmental advocacy group. We have about 20,000 members throughout the state, and we're members of IEC, and I want to join Jonathan today in congratulating our 100% scorecard voters. This is it is a testament to their willingness to show up every day ready to fight for clean air, clean water, and open spaces. So I'm looking forward to the work ahead over the next this session and probably years ahead in making that case in Illinois that as we solve the global warming issue, which we can do with technologies that exist today, we are also going to be keeping our hard-earned dollars in our state instead of shipping them out of state to pay for importing gasoline and other fuels.
I'm Claudia Emkin, and I'm with the Nature Conservancy. And the issue that is of greatest importance to our organization is the open space and land acquisition. And as Becky was pointing out, with the climate change issues, a lot of what can be accomplished for our clean water as well as our clean air is to have these wetlands and these open spaces in place. So our mission this year is to really work hard, not only with the General Assembly to get the money there, but with the administration to try to get that funding spent and released. There's a lot of money sitting in those funds that the administration is refusing to release, so that's our priority for this year.
My name is Lenore Byerklaw. I'm the Policy Director at Open Lands. We're a conservation organization that works on open space protection throughout the Chicago region and on state policy issues. We're working on correcting an issue that provides recreational liability for private landowners who open their land to the public for recreation, general recreation purpose, and allowing those landowners to be protected from liability. And it was in place for 40 years in this state, and through an amendment to the Recreational Land and Waters Area Act in 2005 was changed. We'd just like to get that protection back. So, thank you.
Good morning, I'm Barry Matchett, Co-Legislative Director at the Environmental Law and Policy Center. And I don't have a lot to add on the issues that have already been articulated, particularly as they relate to global warming and the importance of the Clean Car Bill that Representative May has championed, of the several bills that Becky just detailed. So I'll detail 4 other bills that are of importance to our organization and I think to the entire Illinois Environmental Council this session. One is the Illinois Energy Efficient Building Code. It would apply to residential new construction in the state, and it would mean that Illinois would become the 43rd state in the country to require that when new buildings, new homes are built, they be built to an energy efficiency standard as well as to a conventional building standard.